Most everyday YouTubers are literally dumping all their ad money right back into funding their next video. I mean, some people are grinding for years and honestly haven't seen a single penny from it. But then you look over at the other side and you've got people pulling in millions just by dropping dance trends or making goofy faces, basically blowing up overnight. So does this mean real value is officially dead and we're just making way for mindless brain rot and low-effort slop? Or is there something huge here that we're all completely missing? Look, this actually matters because over half of young Americans right now say they want to be a content creator. Like, that is the dream job. So it is incredibly important to know which platform actually gives you a real shot at growing an audience and building genuine wealth. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you which platforms creators are secretly going flat out broke, and which other platform is handing people the kind of life you could only dream about 2 decades ago. Plus, with artificial intelligence making the whole process so insanely easy today, you definitely don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Remember back around 2018 or 2019? If you wanted to make it online, YouTube was pretty much the only game in town. But let's be real, trying to blow up on YouTube back then was starting to feel like a brutal, soul-crushing 9-to-5. You had to buy expensive gear, spend 40 hours learning how to edit, and pray to the algorithm gods that your 20-minute video didn't just sit there at 0 views. It was an absolute grind. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, TikTok enters the room. And it didn't just compete with YouTube, it completely rewrote the rules of the entire internet. It was literally built to end that YouTube hustle. Suddenly, you didn't need a $1,000 camera or a crazy high-end studio setup. You just needed your phone, a goofy idea, and 60 seconds. The algorithm was pure magic. It felt like a win-win for absolutely everybody. You could literally just drop a quick dance trend, lip sync to a trending audio, or just make funny faces in your bedroom. And boom, you're waking up the next morning with millions of views. It leveled the playing field overnight. For the first time ever, getting famous and tapping into that creator wealth felt easy. It became the ultimate shortcut. If you are a young creator looking to carve out your own corner on the internet, TikTok felt like the promised land. It was the fun, fast-paced escape from the YouTube grind that everyone was looking for. And for a while, it really looked like the dream was working. A whole wave of kids took that shortcut and absolutely blew up overnight. If you were scrolling through your phone 5 years ago, you definitely knew who they were. Think about the massive content houses like the Hype House or the Sway House. Think about guys like Noah Eubanks, Chase Hudson, or Michael Lee. They were everywhere. Their faces were plastered all over your feed. They were moving into multi-million-dollar LA mansions, and they were signing massive talent deals. To any teenager watching, it looked like they had officially beaten the system. They were rich, famous, and set for life, all from 15-second clips. But flash forward to right now, a lot of those same creators are digitally and financially dead. Take a look at how fast the House of Cards collapsed. When these guys first started getting those massive influxes of cash from quick TikTok brand deals, they made the ultimate beginner mistake. They treated a temporary spike in income like it was a permanent salary. Instead of taking that capital and investing it into building long-term business infrastructure, automated systems, or assets that generate passive cash flow, they immediately lifestyle inflated. They rented mega mansions in Los Angeles that cost upwards of $30,000 to $50,000 a month just in lease payments and upkeep. They bought luxury sports cars, hired massive entourages of friends on payroll, and threw insane parties, all to feed the algorithm and keep up the illusion of wealth for the camera. But here's where the bad financial knowledge completely ruined them. TikTok views do not pay the bills. The platform's native payout system pays literal pennies for short-form video views, so their entire survival depended on external brands cutting them massive checks to sponsor their clips. And then the market shifted. The TikTok algorithm changed, user attention spans moved on to the next big trend, and brands realized that a 15-second shout-out wasn't actually driving sales. Almost overnight, those brand dollars completely dried up. But guess what didn't disappear? The massive overhead, the luxury car leases, the high rent on the mansions, the management fees, and the tax bills they forgot to save money for. Because they didn't understand tax brackets, cash flow management, or how to diversify their income outside of a single app, they were left completely exposed. Within months, the Hype House fractured. Creators were quietly breaking their leases, moving back into their parents' houses, and trying to figure out how they went from being the most famous teenagers in the world to being completely broke behind the scenes. They went down just as fast as they went up.
So, what is the actual math behind this absolute train wreck? How does someone go from generating a billion views to struggling to buy groceries? It all comes down to a brutal, invisible glitch in the creator economy that nobody talks about. When you get a million views on TikTok, the platform cuts you a check from their creator pool that usually amounts to about 20 to 40 bucks. Seriously, $40 for a million views? If you want to make actual money, you are entirely dependent on brands paying you for sponsorships. But when your views drop even a little bit, those brands drop you instantly. You have zero control over your business. And this is the exact moment where everyone on the internet makes the ultimate wrong financial decision. They look at this chaos and say, all right, TikTok is a scam. I'm moving to YouTube. That's where the real money is. And on paper, it makes total sense. YouTubers aren't chasing volatile brand deals just to survive. They have AdSense. YouTube literally splits its ad revenue 55-45 directly with the creator. A million views on a YouTube video breaking down finance, tech, or business can easily net you $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000. It's an actual sustainable business model.
So, problem solved, right? Just switch platforms and you win the game. Wrong. Because this is where the trap slams shut on a whole new set of creators. When TikTokers try to bring their short-form habits over to YouTube, they get absolutely decimated. They're used to 60-second clips that take an hour to make. Suddenly, they realize that to get those massive YouTube payouts, they have to write, shoot, and edit a highly engaging 15-minute documentary. To compete with the top guys, they start copying what they think works. They hire massive editing teams, buy tens of thousands of dollars in camera gear, build insane sets, and try to replicate the high-end studio look. They scale their expenses to the moon before they even understand their own audience retention metrics. And within 3 months, they hit a wall. They're spending $30,000 to produce a video that only makes $5,000 back in ads. They are burning through their life savings just trying to feed the production machine. So look at the giant mess we've just uncovered. You have TikTokers going broke because their platform doesn't pay them anything, and you have YouTubers going broke because their production costs are completely out of control. Which brings us to the ultimate mind-blowing realization of this entire story. Did you catch what every single one of these failing creators has in common? It is the exact same fatal flaw, whether they're on TikTok or YouTube. They thought the platform was going to make them rich. But the platform doesn't make a single bit of difference. The apps are just distribution networks. They are just pipes. If you don't know how the financial plumbing works, you're going to bleed money no matter where you post. The software, the platform, the algorithm, none of it matters if you lack the fundamental knowledge of cash flow, asset building, and business leverage. The game isn't won by choosing the right app. The game is won by having the right financial blueprint. But look, before you go out there and dominate the internet, drop a like and subscribe. And make sure to join our private community. The link is down in the description. So, how do you actually win this game if you're a young creator starting out in your 20s? How do you avoid the trap of going flat out broke while chasing views? You have to stop acting like an entertainer looking for fame and start acting like a CEO building an empire. And right now, we are living in the absolute golden era for this, because artificial intelligence has completely leveled the playing field. It has shattered the biggest barrier to entry on YouTube, the insane production costs. Think about it. You used to need a $10,000 budget, a team of scriptwriters, a professional editor, and a graphic designer just to compete with the high-end channels. Today, you can use AI as your entire back-end studio. You can use advanced language models to help you reverse engineer viral structures and write high-retention scripts in seconds. You can use AI tools to generate hyper-realistic B-roll, automate complex editing workflows, and clone high-quality audio. What used to take a 5-person production crew 2 weeks to make can now be built by one teenager in their bedroom over a weekend for practically $0. By using AI to automate your production, you solve the YouTube overhead trap instantly. Your profit margins skyrocket to nearly 100%. But here is the final, ultimate piece of the puzzle. You don't just post videos and pray for ad money. You use the massive distribution of these platforms to route attention into assets you own. You build an email list, you launch a digital community, or you create a no-code SaaS product that solves a real problem for your audience. That is how you build true generational wealth.
You use TikTok short form for quick, explosive discovery. You use YouTube long form to build deep trust, authority, and steady ad revenue. And then you funnel all of that attention into a business backend powered by AI. The apps want you to spend all your time feeding their algorithms for pennies, but when you have the right financial knowledge, you turn the tables. You stop letting the platforms use you, and you start using them to build a real business.